Well, we need to know a couple of things. Number one, we need to know how the world's premier law enforcement agency managed to lose 5 months worth of text. And what's also troubling is in the text we do have, they're discussing how to avoid text being captured and secured. So what's missing is important, but also what's there is important. It is manifest bias, not just against Trump, but against his kids, against his business interests. There's a text where they hope the Trump hotel fails. That is a level of bias that you rarely see and you never see from law enforcement officers. What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Ratcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election, and it's the same two people that were discussing a little bit later in the text the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right.
What's out there? Good day, everyone. Today is April 5th, Thursday, 2018. I'm Papa Bear, and, well, this is kind of what's out there. A bunch of people, a caravan, I guess, they're saying is heading right up through Mexico, right up, Central America, Mexico. They're going to head right into the U.S., right in through the southern border. And Trump says, I'm glad we got the warning because this is not going to happen. And they've been picking up people along the way, one at a time. You know, a few here, a few there, and the mass keeps getting bigger. It's well over 1,000, and it's getting bigger and bigger. But now it seems as though President Trump has said you're going to have to thin them out before they get here, because when they get here, they're going to meet up with some extraordinary forces. He is talking with the 3 border states now about their National Guards, and they will put their National Guards out there. There is some cooperation now, which is very good to see. It surprised me to wake up this morning, and I'm thinking, what's in the coffee? Because cooler and calmer heads seem to be prevailing for this thing. We have seen, if anybody has noticed, what's going on over in Europe. Germany, with all the problems they're having in the streets in Germany and in the UK now, well, that stuff is coming here. It's coming to America, and we're not going to have it. So you people who believe in closed border or open borders, if you believe in open borders, you're probably an anarchist, and you're way ahead of your time. We're not ready for that yet. The masses are not ready. It takes people who can contain themselves, people who have, well, who don't have nefarious reasons or hard to explain here. I don't have the right words. But anyway, there's always going to be evil out there, people who are going to want to take advantage of others. And that's where we have the problem when it comes to that. So remember, anarchy only works in the heads of the anarchist. Outside that, it doesn't matter anymore. So you're way ahead of your time. Something else I've been reading on here today was people are using cannabis oil or CBD oil, and they're not taking medications anymore. I guess nearly half of the people who use those stop taking medications. The largest survey on, well, I don't know if I can pronounce this, cannabidiol or CBD usage to date found that women were more likely than men to use CBD, and once they started using it, were likely to drop their traditional medicine. A new survey from Brightfield Group and HelloMD covered 2,400 of HelloMD's community of 150,000 members and did a deep dive into a usage of CBD products and their effectiveness. HelloMD is an online community that brings together doctors and cannabis patients. Now, CBD is a non-psychoactive cannabis compound that doesn't give users the feeling that they're high or stoned. Instead, it's known to have medicinal qualities, like for sleeping and body pain and things like that. Contrary to the image of men being the predominant consumers of cannabis, this survey found that 55% of the CBD users were women, while men preferred the THC-dominant products. Brightfield Group, which helped conduct the survey, studies consumption patterns and demand trends, and is committed to providing accurate data in the cannabis industry, which seems to be rife with unsupported claims. The most common reasons people use CBD were to treat insomnia, depression, anxiety, and joint pain, according to Dr. Perry Solomon, the chief medical officer of HelloMD. 42% of the CBD users said they had stopped using traditional medicines like Tylenol, pain relievers, or prescription drugs like Vicodin, and had switched to using cannabis instead. 80% said they found the products to be very or extremely effective. Only 3% or less found the product to be either ineffectual or slightly effective. One of the areas that the CBD producers will have to work on is educating the consumer about the CBD products. There are more than 850 brands of marijuana-derived CBD products on the market and 150 hemp-derived products. Marijuana and hemp are the two variations of the cannabis plant. 80% of the consumers surveyed admitted they didn't know much, or they didn't know which CBD product they had used. So hemp is what they use in industry for rope and paper and fabric and things like that. It's not, you don't smoke it, it's not going to do anything for your head, okay? It's not psychoactive. What they call marijuana, that has a high THC content, and the THC content is what gets you high, okay? But anyway, according to the confusion, or adding to the confusion, is the murky legal status of CBD. Technically, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency labels all CBD products as illegal, no matter what they do to your head, right? However, hemp-derived CBD is available in just about every state, and even online through Amazon. Marijuana-derived CBD tends to be only found in states with legal medicinal marijuana. This confusion is actually helping the producers of these products as consumers are turning to reliable and trusted brands, said Dr. Solomon. Care by Design is one of the top marijuana-derived brands in the California market, followed closely by Bloom Farms, a leader in the cartridge oil market for vape pens. Kiva Confections is the third favorite choice in the chocolate market. The survey found that these three brands dominated, leaving the rest of the market very fragmented. One of the complaints from the CBD users in the survey was that marijuana-derived CBD products were more expensive than hemp-derived products. When it came to hemp-derived CBD products, the market was led by Charlotte's Web, by the Stanley Brothers, which gained fame from the CNN reporter Sanjay Gupta. It was followed by Plus CBD Oil and Mary's Nutritionals. The complaint from the hemp-derived users was it was less effective than the marijuana-derived CBD, and that might explain why 90% say they would only buy marijuana derived from CBD, or marijuana-derived CBD. All users preferred vaping for consumption, followed by traditional marijuana buds or flower, with edibles as the third preference. They also spent between $20 and $80 a month on CBD products. So $20 and $80 a month is only a fraction of cost as far as, for what it comes to medicines and medicine, pain medicines, and the medicine. Yeah, the pharmaceutical industry has gone through the roof. It's nuts. Anyway, in a twist, in a little twist of fate here, it seems as though a rapper, Safari, he was robbed at gunpoint in New Jersey. A rapper and reality star says he was robbed at gunpoint in New Jersey in what was one of the worst, scariest nights of my life, he said. Safari Samuels said the robbery happened Monday in Fort Lee around 2 a.m. The 36-year-old told WWPR-FM, two men ran up and had him face down on the ground with a gun to his head. Police said a suspect stole $183,000 in cash and jewelry. Police Captain Matthew Hintz says officers tried to stop an SUV near the scene, but the driver fled into New York City. He said that the driver lost control and crashed into a concrete divider, and 3 people ran from the scene. Police have arrested 2 suspects and charged them with robbery, and a search for the 3rd person is still going on. So, I guess rappers are not immune from the robbery thing either. In a little bit of politics, I want to jump on this. 31 House Republicans will not seek re-election in 2018. And that's a big number, okay? Now that includes Representative Darrell Issa from California. He announced that he's retiring from Congress. The 2018 GOP exodus is a new record. The last time there was a massive departure from Congress was when 28 Democrats left in 1994. And Democrats, of course, they took control. Most significantly, Republicans in states won by Hillary Clinton are leaving in droves. Vulnerable House Republicans would clearly rather call it quits than stand re-election for a deeply unpopular agenda hanging over their heads. Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee spokesman Tyler Law told NPR. Anyway, NBC News' Jesse Rodriguez made a similar point. But if you want to know which ones are going out and which ones we're looking for libertarians or replacements, you're going to find in Florida, your 26th and 27th districts, they need to be filled with a Democrat, hopefully, or with a Republican, hopefully, or a libertarian. California, they're losing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 from California are not going back, which would include David Valadao from California's 21st District, 39th District, Ed Royce, 49th, Darrell Issa, 45th, Mimi Walters. She's not going to go back in. The 10th, Jeff Denham. He's not going to go back for re-election either. So there's the 7th District in New Jersey, the 6th in Pennsylvania, 7th in Texas. Texas 32nd, Pete Sessions, he's not running either. Texas 23rd, Will Hurd, he's not running. Virginia's 10th. Colorado's 6th, Mike Kaufman, he's not running. Illinois' 6th, Peter Roskam, he's not running. New York's 24th, oh my God, New York, John Katko. New York and California could use some more Republicans. Washington's 8th, Dave Reichert, is not coming back. So, 31 of them. Democrats would need to flip 24 seats to take back the House, with the Senate being more of a long shot. In the upper chamber, Democrats have to defend 25 seats to pick up an additional 3 in order to take back a majority. Okay, so a Washington Post or ABC National poll from November found that hypothetical Democrat candidates are favored by voters against their Republican counterparts 51% to 40%. And that could be, but 51 to 40, you're still looking at a margin on the fence. So get out there, people. You need to get out there and I don't know, support them, help them out. Get your get your candidates in there. Anyway, last week I mentioned about Facebook and how Facebook was downloading your data and all kinds of good stuff. All right, and well, It's even worse than that. The Cambridge Analytica scandal, well, that continues. That's going, and as it does, people are becoming more and more aware of just how much data Facebook has on them. And this one here, here was a comment. This one woman says, "I just looked at the data files I requested from Facebook, and they have every single phone number in my contacts. They had every single social event I went to, a list of all my friends and their birthdays, and a list of every text I've sent." Okay. Here's another one that says, just downloaded my Facebook data archive. Open the first page, contact info. I think I just had a mild panic attack. Going to have a cigarette to calm my nerves before I proceed to dissect this any further. This will be a thread. So my guess is there's quite a bit here. Another one here says, I downloaded my Facebook data and now I'm going through it. Biggest surprise so far. Facebook gave some 41 my contact info. Just downloaded my Facebook data, and yes, like others, they do have all the mobile numbers in my address book, including some sensitive ones. So now what? As I lean on this table, as I lean on this open stable door, watching the horse disappear over the hill, right? Exactly. There's one guy took a screenshot from New Zealand, and he put that all in there, and it's all about outgoing calls, missed calls, incoming calls, who they were with, how long they were for, the time they called. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. Entire call history. And they're all separated by name. A historical record, this is one here, a historical record of every single contact on my phone, including ones I no longer have. Okay. Another one, metadata about every text message I've ever received or sent. Spoiler, I don't use Messenger for SMS. Okay, so they picked up this information somewhere. All right, but anyway, this guy Dylan McKay, who created the script, has made the code available on GitHub for anyone who would like to make sense of their own Facebook data. But the amount of data Facebook has stored on you doesn't stop there. Unfortunately, recently, a news reporter checked on his own data. It included scanned copies of lease forms from a previous rental property I must have sent to my buddies over Messenger, my current tenant ledger report, an old monthly billing statement for my home broadband, screenshots of banking transfers, and seemingly endless web pages of all the banal conversations I have ever had on the platform, he wrote in the New Zealand Herald. It's an odd feeling to think that in some ways, Facebook now knows you better than you know yourself. So, if you missed the show last week, look for it in YouTube at what's out there, if you would please, and that'll just define. It'll show you how to access that information and download it, and that way you'll have it. Okay, and then if you want to, you might want to change your privacy settings in Facebook. Okay, and to do that, you go into your page, and then you go into settings, and then apps. Okay, let's take this right from the top here. You're going to go to your Facebook page on the far right. You're going to see a little arrow pointing down, or whatever it is, and that's going to have a drop-down menu, and you go to settings from there, and then into your settings. You're going to go to, on the left side, it'll say apps. And you click on apps, and then it'll show you your app settings. You're logged in with Facebook. You click on show all, and these ones, this is a list of apps that are tracking you. Okay? So, and then you have the option. When you hover over that, you'll have the option to either edit how much of it they take, or you can just kill it totally. Okay? So, also in there, you scroll down a bit further in the settings app, in the apps section, you'll have more options. The most important options that you might want to look in is apps, websites, and plugins, or other apps use, or old versions of Facebook for mobile. Okay, if you have those options, you have options in there that you can edit too. So, actually, Facebook has opened up A lot of things that you can actually access now and modify your settings. And also, another rumor going on is that Zuckerberg is going to be gone. He's going to have to face Congress or a committee. He's going to have to go answer to them. And then after he's done answering to them, he's going to go. He's pretty much gone anyway. I mean, he got pretty quiet after we found out that all that stuff was going to Cambridge Analytica. Okay. But the value of Facebook or its stock prices keep going down. Okay, like last Monday, the Facebook shares slid 6.77%. Okay, that knocked $36 billion right off the company's valuation. So, I mean, it's all coming down, and YouTube isn't doing themselves any favors. They've taken away the monetization for a lot of the users there. And I'm sure everyone heard about the Muslim woman who did videos who got a little upset because they pulled her videos off, and she went and shot the place up. We're probably not going to hear about this, though, because she was liberal, she was a woman, she was a vegan. She had all the bad, all the qualities that we like to think as being wonderful, and it doesn't fit the profile. So you can't have that, right? Yeah, exactly. We know how that goes. Oh my goodness. So Zuckerberg is, he's on his way out. Bitcoin is going down. This came out last month, but it keeps going down. You've got to be careful with cryptocurrency. Okay, if you can't hold it, if it's not physical, you probably don't have it. Okay, and like anything else, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Well, who's the Lord? All right, if you're banking on power and the grid, your banking is done. Okay, if there's no power and no grid, there's no bank. Okay, pretty much how it works. Unless you go to a physical bank. Anything after that has to be physical. Okay, which means now you have to hold it. Okay, if you can't hold it, if it's not in your hand, you don't have it. Okay, and that's only the beginning of the misconceptions that we have. When I was a child, we used to hear, possession is 9/10 of the law, and you always hear that, possession is 9/10 of the law. Well, if possession is 9/10 of the law, what's the other 10th? The other 10th is title. Who really owns it? It's one thing possessing it, but who really owns it? Okay? And this is where your ever popular paperwork came in, your titles and your deeds and your bills of sale and things like that. Possession is 9/10 of the law. The other 10th is the title or the deed or the bill of sale. Okay. There's always the legal aspect of it, the what you might call the financial aspect of it. Okay. Something else I wanted to mention before I take this break here. And Darrell Issa is leaving, and Mueller, of course, we still have the Mueller investigation going, but it was spilled a little bit early that there was nothing as far as Trump and Russia go. Nothing. And it shouldn't have come out this early. See, the whole idea is to keep everybody on edge, keep them in suspense and see what happens, right? We'll keep it going and we'll keep the ride going. We'll see how it goes. And then, when the time is right, we'll just go ahead and we'll spring it. That's pretty much how it is. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I've got a tune here that was done by my other co-host at night, Skills. It was done by his son. and he wanted me to put a plug in for him. So I'm going to go ahead and run this tune here, and then we're going to do our ads, and then we'll be back. I'm Papa Bear, and that, my friends, is what's out there. Don't go away.
Let me assure you that our priority will remain to ensure stability and security.
In order to ensure the security and continuing
Stability, security for Canadians.
Galactic Empire!
So this is how liberty dies. With thunderous applause.
Attention L&M Radio Network listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the L&M Radio Network by calling 605-562-4203? No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 605-562-4203 to listen to the L&M Radio Network on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Brothers at Arms is not about being militant, though there is a time and place where that is necessary. Brothers at Arms is not about arguing, though there are times where things may get heated. Brothers at Arms is not about who is right or wrong. There are many sides to each issue. Brothers at Arms is about exploring those sides, about dealing with the issues facing us today, about coming together and, through opposing views, understanding the deeper truths that are in the middle. Join Ira Robinson and Joe Long each Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on LateNightInTheMidlands.com as these Brothers at Arms discuss what you need to know. Brothers at Arms, it's about time. Have you been looking for answers? Have you been seeking the truth but can't seem to find it? Late Night in the Midlands has the answers for you. Whether you are interested in the paranormal, aliens and UFOs, alternative health information, or just a little hope and inspiration, we have a show for you. Late Night in the Midlands, The Secret Teachings, Open Eyes, Red Pill Reality Show, Brothers at Arms, and many more shows. All here on the L&M Network for you to listen to at any time that you want. Everything is free to listen to, and though it is not required, we are listener supported, and all donations are deeply appreciated. You will not find shows like these in the mainstream media. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com to listen. The L&M Network, where the truth has
Mueller
no
is
fear.
continuing to investigate President Trump, but does not.
This is TJ Sanfilippo, host of Navigating the River Styx. Join us each and every Thursday night at midnight here on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. Together, we will traverse the forbidden waters of the paranormal, the occult, our hidden history, conspiracies, and things that dwell in the darkness and the deep. Come, grab a seat by the fire away from the night that is closing in. I have tales to tell you. When the clock strikes 12, I invite you to join us here on Late Night in the Midlands Radio Network. Until then, stay safe.
The L&M Radio Network and Late Night in the Midlands depends on you, the listener. Without you, there would be no us. So help us continue to bring you the best guests with the best information and subscribe today. Information on becoming an L&M subscriber can be found at the top of LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Just click the About Subscriptions tab and become part of the family while helping the truth stay alive. And while you're at it, maybe subscriptions aren't for you. A one-time donation helps as well. Click that donate button on the right side of LateNightInTheMidlands.com and help us help you.
That's called It Moves On. It's by J.C. Clash. For those of you who listen to our nighttime show on Friday nights, Show Us Don't Tell Us, you'll know who Skills is. And this is done by his son, along with his talents. And I told him I'll put a plug in for him. Anyway, this is, I am Papa Bear. This is what's out there. And I just want to get past the plugs here. This is L&M Radio Network, LateNightInTheMidlands.com, LNMRadioNetwork.com. Come on over to the website, chat and listen over there. We are also on TalkStream Live. If you miss a live broadcast, it will be replayed 12 hours after the live airing time on the L&M Radio Network. We also archive the shows here at YouTube, and you can access that at YouTube channel What's Out There, and I put in a broadcast usually like right after the show is done, so there's no confusion there. But anyway, we're back, and also the Paranoia radio app. We're also on that app too for your smartphone. Anyway, I was noticing this morning with Mueller. Remember I told you a little bit about Mueller? I said the special counsel was doing the investigation and they blew the whistle and said a little bit earlier there. Yeah, well, anyway, CNN Politics says here, special counsel Robert Mueller has told President Donald Trump's lawyers that the president is not currently being considered a criminal target of the Russia probe, the Washington Post reported Tuesday, citing 3 people familiar with the discussions. They don't cite one, they cite 3 people familiar with it, okay? And like the notice that I read earlier, this was a little bit early. They weren't supposed to know this yet. The game was supposed to keep going. This is a cat and mouse game. It's a strategy game. It's a chess game. And if you don't know how to play political chess or the chess that they're playing, then you might want to just sit back and watch. And watch the places as they all come together. This is highly technical, and believe me, it's above you and me. I have seen reports from military figures, major military figures, video reports where they're, the terrestrial thing is real. And with the Disclosure Project back in 2001, the report was 59 known species at that point, 3 of which were gray. But what really creeps the government out is that there is one species that looks just like us. you could be sitting beside them and not know it. And that's what scares them, because they don't know who is who. There is terrestrial intervention, but it's, where? If you can't tell them from us, where? But anyway, back to the Mueller thing. The special counsel's team is compiling a report on Trump's actions as president and any potential obstruction of justice, which Mueller has told Trump's lawyers 2 people with knowledge of the conversations told the Post. The report notes that Mueller continues to seek an interview with Trump himself. Of course he would, so that he can twist anything that's said. But CNN reported Friday that attorneys for both sides sat down in an in-person meeting on tips that investigators could ask the president about, according to 2 sources familiar with the talks. CNN reported in January, I don't like citing CNN, but hey, they're what's out there, right? They cited in January that Mueller's team had given President's lawyer general topics for an interview, such as Trump's request that then FBI Director James Comey drop the investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, his reaction to Comey's May 2017 testimony on Capitol Hill, and Trump's contact with intelligence officials about Russia investigation. Mueller's team is investigating Russian meddling in the 2016 election and has been looking into any potential ties between Russia and Trump campaign associates. Trump has repeatedly denied any collusion. Now, first of all, collusion is not a crime, okay? And see, this is the thing. We're paying you to look for Russian meddling in the 2016 election, okay? That's all they're doing. They're looking for it. And if they find it, they say, yep, we found it. Any details? Well, we don't want to give you any details. Okay? But, yeah, we found something. Or, we didn't find something. Or, you can milk it and say, well, yeah, we're still compiling evidence, right? We're still compiling evidence, yeah. Anyway. Senator Menendez, if anybody remembers Senator Menendez from New Jersey, apparently he employed an illegal immigrant who was a registered sex offender as an unpaid intern in his Senate office, and that intern is now under arrest by immigration authorities, the Associated Press reports. Homeland Security Department instructed federal agents not to arrest the teen until after Election Day, a U.S. official involved in the case told the Associated Press. So wait till after Election Day and then go ahead and do it. Can you imagine the stir? Mr. Menendez would have never made it back, huh? Luis Abraham Sanchez Zavaleta, an 18-year-old immigrant from Peru, was arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents in front of his home in New Jersey on December 6th. 2 federal officials said. Sanchez, who entered the country on a now expired visitor visa from Peru, is facing deportation and remains in custody. The prosecutor's office in Hudson County, New Jersey, said Sanchez was found to have violated the law in 2010 and subsequently required to register as a sex offender. The exact charge is unclear because Sanchez was prosecuted as a juvenile and those court records are not publicly accessible. The prosecutor's office confirmed to Associated Press that Sanchez registered as a sex offender, although his name does not appear on the public registry. Well, anyway, Menendez, who advocates aggressively for pro-immigration policies, was reelected in November with a 58% vote. Congressional staffers who worked for Menendez were notified about Sanchez's case shortly after the arrest. Sanchez told ICE agents that he worked on immigration issues for the senator. The spokesman for Menendez said she was looking into the matter. Yeah, we'll look into it and we'll let you know later. Authorities in Hudson County notified ICE agents early in October that they suspected Sanchez was an illegal immigrant who was a registered sex offender and who may be eligible to be deported. ICE agents in New Jersey notified superiors at the Homeland Security Department because they considered it a potentially high-profile arrest, and DHS instructed them not to arrest Sanchez until after the November election, one U.S. official told the AP. ICE officials complained that the delay was inappropriate, but DHS directed them several times not to act, the officials said. During discussions about when or where to arrest Sanchez, the U.S. reviewed Sanchez's application for permission to stay in the country as part of President Barack Obama's policy to allow up to 1.7 million young illegal immigrants avoid deportation and get permission to work for up to 2 years. As a sex offender, he would not have been eligible. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which oversees the program known as Deferred Action and for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, notified Sanchez of that shortly before his arrest, one official said. During the final weeks of President George W. Bush's administration, ICE was criticized for delaying the arrest of President Barack Obama's aunt, who had ignored an immigration judge's order to leave the country several years earlier after her asylum claim was denied. She subsequently won the right to stay in the United States after an earlier deportation order, and there was no evidence of involvement by the White House. A spokesman for Immigration and Customs Enforcement did not immediately respond to Associated Press's request for further details about the case of Senator Menendez in turn. So, let's see. Everybody has an advantage, right? FBI agents threatened physical harm to President Trump in FBI texts, or in the missing FBI texts and other frightening communications. This is according to True Pundit. This is much larger than just text between two FBI agents. A high-ranking FBI official confirms a number of missing 50,000 FBI text messages, as well as other text and email messages among FBI brass, reportedly discussing initiating physical harm to President Trump. The FBI official urged the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the Secret Service, to launch an investigation of the Justice Department, the FBI, and all text messages missing and otherwise that threatened the president. Now, this is when I said the DOJ and the FBI were under investigation, and they still are. This is dangerous territory, and all FBI messages and personal phones should be examined, the official said. It should reveal some frightening conversations, or it would reveal. Did FBI brass discuss the assassination of President Trump? If not, what was the nature of the threats against the president from inside the alleged premier law enforcement agency of the United States? Director Wray wants a lid on this, the FBI official said. Many know there was talk of harming Trump politically, but there is a group here, or in D.C. HQ, that understands it goes deeper. We need a special counsel or Homeland Security. Somebody has to clean this up outside of DOJ. It's unacceptable. This is much larger than just texts between two FBI agents. The FBI official called on President Trump to do what is necessary to weed out corruption in the FBI. Text messages don't just appear, the FBI official said. Not here. Somewhere outside, DOJ has to look at all emails and texts. These or FBI bosses are bad people. You've only scratched the surface. The high-ranking FBI official called on lawmakers and the Inspector General to focus on the text and email messages of FBI Director Andrew McCabe. The official referred to McCabe's official and personal correspondences an anti-Trump treasure trove. Okay. As reported in March 2017 by True Pundit, McCabe openly threatened President Trump and then National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn, saying first we Flynn and then we Trump, to several high-ranking FBI bosses who cheered his comment. Okay. And from that one said, McCabe, the second highest ranking FBI official, emphatically declared at the invite-only gathering with raised voice, F. Flynn, and then we F. Trump, according to the direct sources. Many of his top lieutenants applauded and cheered such rhetoric. A scattered few did not. This was one of several such meetings held in seclusion among the FBI leaders since Trump was elected president, FBI sources confirm. at the congregation where McCabe went off the political rails and vowed to destroy Flynn and Trump, there were as many as 16 top FBI officials, inside intelligence sources said. No lower-level agents or support personnel were present. If you're among the millions of Americans who have pondered in recent months whether the Obama-era deep state intelligence apparatus and FBI are working for or against Trump, this is the first definitive proof for the country's once premier law enforcement agency has gone rogue. Okay. The non-elected hierarchy that steer the FBI have declared war on President Trump and his White House inner circle. Make no mistake about it. There is a coup. I've been saying since show number 1. Okay, it's going on inside. It's a big battle. You see remnants of it in the press. But the press and a lot of you Congress and senators, they're useful idiots. They're out there parroting some talking points, and actually, it's probably a good thing. I notice things have quieted down, and this morning, calmer heads are prevailing. People are actually thinking about what's going on. You've got this invasion coming up through the southern border, and actually, it surprises me. Governor Jerry Brown is actually willing to work with Trump to deploy the National Guard at the border, and that's what's going to happen. He wants to put the National Guard there. He doesn't want the troops there. You can't have the troops on our soil. Well, you can at the border, I guess, but not inland. You know, this is part of what we call safety and protection. Okay, if that government says we have to provide safety and protection for you, and that is what it takes, keeping bad actors out, MS-13 or whoever's coming in, because they have bad intent, that's what it takes. The man is doing his job. Like it or not. It's not up to you to like it. It's not up to you to not like it. It is what it is. You're not going to change it. I'm not going to change it. You can get mad and fuss and fume, and the only thing you're going to do is mess up your health. Okay? So, suck it up, Buttercup. Isn't that what we say? Move along. There are things that we can't change. Remember, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So let's start with wisdom and go from there. That's the best way to do it. Anyway, per The Hill yesterday, according to when this was, Attorney Jeff Sessions on Monday announced the Justice Department will investigate missing text messages sent between 2 FBI agents critical of President Trump, joining the chorus of Republican lawmakers who are eager to recover the exchange. GOP officials have seized on the messages as evidence of FBI bias against Trump in the probes into Russian election meddling and Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server as Secretary of State. We will leave no stone unturned to confirm with certainty why these text messages are not now available to be produced, and we use every technology available to determine whether the missing messages are recoverable from another source, Sessions said in the statement. You know what? Go to Facebook. You want those messages? Go to Facebook. You'll get them. Oh, my. That's the best way to talk about it, huh? Facebook is the way to go. If you want to check out anything, yeah, that's how you do it. Hillary Clinton says the Parkland students have a real shot to defeat the NRA. I don't know what realm she lives in, but it's not the same one that I live in. She was speaking at the Wing Women's Club in New York City on Tuesday night, and she voiced her support for the Parkland survivors turned activists, saying they can actually be the ones who can finally beat the National Rifle Association. This is not good. The reason why our country hasn't been invaded is because of the Second Amendment. Okay? Is history that dilute? unbelievable. Let me tell you something. The NRA is helping to preserve your rights, okay? The NRA was designed, believe it or not, with black people in mind because of the black genocide years ago. And they had to find a way to protect themselves. And the NRA was established so that black men and people, or women, or whatever, could defend themselves by arming themselves. And for you people who are still stuck on this thing that, well, there was slavery that came to this country, or they were all slave owners, this, that, and the other. According to the Bill of Rights, all men are created equal. It doesn't say all white men. It doesn't say all black men. It doesn't specify what kind of men. It says all men are created equal. And if you're going to go on that woman thing, they are of mankind. And if you want to get into the legal realm, you'll find that if it's man, it can also mean woman. So, you know, we've got to get past these biases, okay? There's just too many of them. Too many of them. The Pope, from what I understand, is in for a rude awakening in May. Next month. We've got some setups going on, and a lot of other people are going to get some sunlight showing up their butts pretty quick. Daylight. This is the enlightening. This is where you find out what's going on with the Catholic Church, where Satan worship. Okay? This is not a Christian church. I'm going to get haters already. I know it. And it is what it is. I can't change it. It is what it is. It's exactly what it displays. Never go by what is said. Go by what is done. Okay? Actions speak louder than words. And you'll know a person's credibility based on how they act, not by what they say. They can say anything, but what the bottom line is only words. And until there's credibility to back up those words, that's all they are. Okay? Your donations to charities, charitable donations, U.S. taxpayers that are paying for, you know, the Paris Accord, that's a scam. We're paying for it. We're paying trillions. The Red Cross is a scam. We're paying billions for that. Foreign aid, all foreign aid is a scam. Everything we send over there, it's unconstitutional because taxes are only to be apportioned, which are redistributed throughout the people. Okay? We don't pay Israel. We don't pay foreign countries. Okay? That's foreign aid. It's a scam. War is a scam. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Okay? Now, who audits where that money actually goes? Who gets the money? You know, if you're sending money to overseas or over to, let's say, Afghanistan for humanitarian purposes, who does it go to? Where does it go? Who receives that money? And how do you know it's going for what supposedly they say it's going to? Remember, it's only words, right? I mean, if you look and you see what's being done, do you see the results of all that money that gets poured in over there? The works aren't there. The works aren't there. And of course, with the Antifa people, do you think the ones sponsoring them pay for them out of their own pocket? You know, that comes from slush funds from somewhere. Where does that money come from? Do you think Soros pays all that from his own pocket? No. The pocket is deep. It's very deep. This is from a Q post. The pocket is very deep. And this is going to be taken down. Okay? It's all going to go away. And you're going to be happy. This is Revelation. This is what's predicted in the Bible in the last days. These are the days that everybody wants to be here for. So if you're thinking about taking yourself out, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Oh, the best is yet to come. French Cardinal is going to stand trial in a sex abuse cover-up case. It's all coming apart. It's all coming apart. And of course, Obama sent taxpayer money to a Soros-backed group. You wonder where he's getting the money from? It's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Okay? And, global warming. I've got to touch on this. Don't put your shovels away yet. Don't put your boots away yet. We're supposed to get some snow this weekend. New York, New Jersey area. And they're talking about a couple inches up here in Maine, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it warms up. It's supposed to be in the 40s, get colder overnight. Overnight was when it's going to snow. But, of course, I'm not going to have to plow this stuff. That's a good thing. Anyway. Oh, boy. People are leaving states, moving out of some and moving into other ones. They're inbound. Places they're moving into: Vermont, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada, South Dakota, Washington, South Carolina, North Carolina, Colorado, and Alabama. Those are the top 10. And of course, they have different reasons for moving. The top 10 places, if you're moving for jobs, is Nebraska, D.C., Louisiana, Oklahoma, West Virginia, Iowa, Rhode Island, Virginia, Georgia, and California. And the top 10 places for retirement would be Florida, Nevada, South Carolina, Arizona, Maine hit number 5, that's where I am, Vermont, Wyoming, Delaware, Arkansas, and New Mexico. So those are your retirement states, and the first 10 I mentioned are your working states. So if you plan on relocating, you might want to decide if you're, you'll pretty much know if you're retired or if you're working. And if based on those states and what they're doing, you could probably make up your mind on those. Anyway, I'm Papa Bear. Today is Thursday, April 5th, 2018. That, my friends, is what's out there. Oh my, I'm not doing too good today. Have a great day, people. Thank you.
Well, we need to know a couple of things. Number one, we need to know how the world's premier law enforcement agency managed to lose 5 months worth of text. And what's also troubling is in the text we do have, they're discussing how to avoid text being captured and secured. So what's missing is important, but also what's there is important. It is manifest bias, not just against Trump, but against his kids, against his business interests. There's a text where they hope the Trump hotel fails. That is a level of bias that you rarely see and you never see from law enforcement officers. What's also troubling to me is this text that Johnny Ratcliffe found last night about this secret society. Now, I have no clue what that means because that was not the phraseology I used, but it's the day after the election. And it's the same two people that we're discussing a little bit later in the text, the damage they had done with the Clinton investigation and how they could, quote, fix it and make it right.
What's out there?